March 22nd, 2015, 9-year-old Denise Huskins and her 30-year-old boyfriend, Quinn, were staying the night at Aaron's house in Vallejo, California, approximately 30 miles north of San Francisco. The couple were both physical therapists at a local hospital. In the early morning of March 23rd, something terrifying unfolded for the couple around 1:53 p.m. on March 23rd. Aaron contacted the Vallejo Police Department to report that Denise had been abducted. The police were immediately dispatched to the scene and began an extensive search for Denise. Officers with the Vallejo Police Department utilized search and rescue dogs and dive teams as they scoured the entire city for the missing woman. As the search for Denise continued, Aaron, Denise's boyfriend, was interviewed by detectives and FBI agents in an undisclosed location during their interrogation. Aaron provided crucial details about the events leading up to and following the abduction. He and Denise were woken up in the middle of the night by a bright beam of light shining in their face. The light was followed by a vibrating noise that Aaron attributed to a stun gun. Aaron claimed that he heard a male voice demanding they lie face down on the bed. As he and Denise complied, Aaron explained to the detectives that the intruder blindfolded him using swim goggles, but they had been blacked out with dark tape, making it impossible to see anything. The male intruder then instructed Denise to bind Aaron's wrists with zip ties. The intruder placed Aaron in a closet and covered his ears with headphones, playing a pre-recorded message before calming music. This message instructed Aaron to follow specific instructions, and Zimp warned him not to interfere with the abductor plans during the message. The voice said that both occupants needed to comply or would be hurt by an electric shock or cuts to their faces. Before leaving, the intruder obtained Aaron's financial account information and passwords. Aaron later recounted to the detectives that the intruder placed him on the couch, told him that the professional group was monitoring him via webcam. After being left alone, Aaron said he passed out on the sofa, but eventually woke up. Aaron immediately realized that the intruder had stolen his laptop car, and most importantly, Denise's panic began to set in as Aaron realized that she was missing. He checked his phone and discovered a chilling voicemail from the kidnapper demanding money in return for her safe return. The intruder threatened Aaron, warning him to tell anyone who asked that he wanted the money to purchase a ski boat. A search for Denise began immediately. Officers with the Vallejo Police Department launched a massive investigation. The spokesperson for the department revealed that the detectives were treating the case as a kidnapping for ransom. The details of the intruder's actions, the pre-recorded message, seemed too elaborate, and wondered whether he had played a role in Denise's disappearance. Aine's mother, who spoke to Datline, revealed that the detectives treated her son more like a suspect than a victim. They polygraphed him 5 times, placed him in a prison jumpsuit, and provided minimal food, water, as they held him for hours in the interrogation room. These tactics were perceived as an attempt to coerce a confession rather than a determined effort to locate Denise, despite Aine's claims that an intruder had abducted Denise. The lack of evidence and discrepancies in his story led the detectives to consider alternative possibilities. They believed that Aine might have harmed Denise and then concocted the story of the intruder to cover his tracks. However, without concrete evidence, they were unable to prove this theory definitively. Just over 30 hours after Denise vanished, reporter Henry Lee received an email with an audio file attached. This file, claiming to be a proof of life message from Denise, sparked a media frenzy and left investigators with questions. When Henry Lee opened the audio file, heard a female voice. It was undeniably Denise's in the recording. Denise spoke about the day's biggest news. A German airliner had crashed in the Alps, resulting in the loss of 150 lives. Denise also mentioned her first concert, where she watched Blink-182 in Bad Religion with her friend and her friend's mum on the surface. This recording seemed to be a clear indicator of Denise's survival. By mentioning current events, specific details of her own life, Denise appeared to confirm that she was aware of her surroundings and had the means to communicate with the outside world. However, reporter Henry Lee couldn't help harbor doubts. One aspect that caught Henry Lee's attention was Denise's voice. He noticed something out of the ordinary. It lacked any signs of fear or distress commonly associated with someone who had been abducted. Instead, Denise's tone seemed casual, as if she were talking to a friend of her coffee. This discrepancy raised suspicions that this recording may have been staged or altered in some way. As news of Denise's abduction spread, her friends heard the recording and were deeply worried about her safety, despite the message claiming that she was alive. Her loved ones were in the dark about the specific circumstances surrounding her disappearance. All they had to go by was her voice on the recording. When Dateline interviewed Denise's friends, they expressed no surprise at the calmness evident in her recording. They claimed that they had been with Denise at the Boston Marathon in 2013. When a terrorist attack occurred, it was Denise who remained composed and took charge, leading herself and her friends to safety. Approximately 45 hours after Denise was first reported missing, the Vallejo Police Department announced that she'd been located in Huntington Beach, California, approximately 400 m south of Vallejo, where she had last been seen. This discovery raised suspicions among detectives, as Denise was raised in Huntington Beach. The detectives also knew that no ransom demands had been received, which left them questioning why her abductor had literally let her go. According to the ransom, Denise was worried about her abductor hot. So, the spokesperson for the Vallejo Police Department, Denise, spoke to the police in Huntington Beach after she said the intruder let her go. The Vallejo detective stated that Denise refused to talk to them. The FBI became involved and offered a plan to aid Denise and Aaron in their cooperation. Despite this offer, the spokesperson claimed that Denise and Aaron still refused to engage with the Vallejo police directly. The Vallejo Police Department spokesperson said that Aaron Quinn's statement about the intruder and Denise's abduction was such an incredible story that the detectives had a hard time believing it. Upon further investigation, the detectives could not substantiate Aaron's claims. This spokesperson boldly stated that Aaron and Denise had plundered valuable resources away from the community while instilling fear in residents. If anything, the spokesperson argued that Aaron and Denise owed the community an apology. Detectives involved in the case felt that there was significant evidence indicating that Aaron and Denise fabricated the intruder. In Abduction, Aaron's initial story to the detective stated that he gave the intruder his credit card information, but further investigation revealed that no one attempted to access his bank accounts additionally. Aaron claimed that the intruder had called him a few times from a blocked number, yet the detectives believed that Aaron may have pre-programmed another phone to call his cell to fool them. One day after the Vallejo Police Department held their press conference condemning Aaron and Denise, Denise visited the Vallejo Police Department and took back the phone to send a message to police, shoving it in her pocket. Spoke to the detectives during her interview. Denise revealed that in addition to being kidnapped, she'd also been sexually assaulted. This revelation shocked the detectives, who had initially dismissed Denise's claims as a hoax. Denise's case took a twist when a reporter named Henry Lee received an email that seemed to provide evidence of Denise's innocence. This email, purportedly written by the person who claimed to have abducted Denise, challenged the accusations against her. The email writer expressed anger at the suggestion that Denise had fabricated her story. They emphasized that they would not stand by and watch the life of a good person be ruined by false accusations to support their claims. The writer attached 2 images to the email. In the first image there was a water gun painted black with a flashlight attached to it. While this might seem innocent, the water gun could resemble a real weapon in the darkness. The second image depicted a bedroom with cardboard. On the windows, according to the writer, this is the room where they held Denise during her abduction. These images, if genuine, potentially added credibility to the writer's statements. However, without additional evidence or verification, their authenticity remained in question. Denise Huskins' abduction case remained shrouded in controversy, with many people questioning the truth behind Denise's claims. News of Denise's abduction and return hit the media like a firestorm. Reporters dubbed the event the Gone Girl case, due to its resemblance to the novel and movie, which was centered around a woman who faked her disappearance to frame her husband for murder. The insinuation that Denise and Aaron had lied about the break-in and kidnapping infuriated their loved ones. Comparisons were drawn between the fictional case and Gone Girl and the real abduction of Denise Huskins. The media focused on similarities between the characters in the plot, fueling speculation and conspiracy theories. This comparison added to the intrigue and captivated the public's attention, adding fuel to the media frenzy. Furthermore, Denise and Aaron were subjected to harassment and online abuse. Trolls and anonymous individuals targeted them on social media, sharing their personal information and spreading misinformation. Their reputations became tarnished, and their personal lives were invaded. The impact of online harassment on individuals is severe and long-lasting, further exacerbating the emotional toll of the abduction on the couple. Denise's friends were deeply disturbed by these accusations. They knew Denise as a person of honesty and integrity, and they could not bear to see their friend being portrayed as a liar to the world. Those who loved Denise believed that her abduction was a genuine event, and they stood unwaveringly by her side. The media frenzy surrounding the case intensified, and Denise and Aaron found themselves the center of a media storm. They were subjected to intense scrutiny and speculation, with many questioning their motives. Denise and Aaron faced immense pressure. However, on June 5, 2015, just months after Denise's abduction, a similar crime rocked Dublin, California. This incident would provide crucial evidence contradicting the hoax accusations in Denise's case. Around 3 a.m., an intruder broke into a home in Dublin. The homeowner, awoken by the commotion, found himself face to face with the intruder. The intruder, Sean, a flashlight in his eyes, uttering chilling words. He informed the homeowner that he had kidnapped his 22-year-old daughter. This homeowner and his wife, understandably terrified, found themselves in a struggle for their lives. Sensing an opportunity to escape, the wife ran to retrieve the cell phone. Her husband, displaying quick thinking, yelled to his wife, "Get the gun." This command caught the intruder off guard, and he quickly fled the scene. The husband and wife's daughter were in the bedroom safe when the police arrived at the scene. They found several items the intruder had left behind, including a cell phone. The detectives managed to the phone found at the Dublin crime scene, 2-year-old Matthew Muller. After obtaining a search warrant for Matthew Muller's arrest, officers headed to the family cabin in South Lake Tahoe, where they believed he was hiding. Upon arrival in South Lake Tahoe, officers arrested Matthew and took him into custody. The subsequent search of Matthew's home revealed several crucial pieces of evidence. First, investigators discovered a BB gun that matched the description provided by Denise's abductor. Additionally, investigators found a super soaker painted black and equipped with a flashlight and laser pointer, the same one depicted in an image sent to reporter Henry Lee by the kidnapper. Furthermore, Investigators stumbled upon a room in Matthew's cabin that bore a striking resemblance to the one described by Denise's abductor to Henry Lee. The windows were boarded up and the room appeared secluded. In addition to the BB gun and super soaker, investigators recovered a pair of swim goggles with lenses covered by black tape. Intriguingly, a long blonde hair was attached to the tape. This hair sample was sent to the California State Crime Lab for analysis, and the results came back as a match for Denise. This revelation undermined the hoax theory and raised suspicions that Matthew was involved. Furthermore, investigators conducted a thorough search of Matthew's car, finding a number of items of interest. A forensic examination of his GPS navigation system revealed that one of the addresses programmed into the GPS was the location near Huntington Beach where Denise claimed her abductor had left her. This discovery further strengthened the case against Matthew and suggested that Denise's abduction was more than just a fabrication. Matthew was eventually arrested and charged with battery robbery and assault in relation to the break-in that occurred in Dublin, California, several months before the abduction. However, on July 13, 2015, additional charges were brought against him, including kidnapping, in connection with Denise's case, as the investigation continued. Detectives delved deeper into Matthew's background. They discovered he had enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, where he played the trumpet for the United States Marine Band. Matthew distinguished himself as a decorated Marine during his service, earning several service medals and ribbons, and being promoted to sergeant. Despite Matthew never having experienced combat, he developed severe mental health struggles that he attributed to what he referred to as the Gulf War syndrome. As a result, he asked to be relieved from his duties as a police officer. His request was granted, and he received an honorable discharge following his graduation from Pomona College in 2003. Matthew moved to Boston and started at Harvard Law School. During his time there, he became passionate about working with immigrants and refugees. As a result, he remained at Harvard as a research assistant to the university's Immigration and Refugee Clinic. After a few years on the East Coast, Matthew grew tired of life in Boston. In 2019, he relocated to Silicon Valley, where he passed the California bar exam. However, he never registered for the actual bar. Despite his lack of registration, Matthew managed to find employment at several immigration law firms. He also founded a non-profit organization that provided pro bono services to immigrants with mental illness. In 2013, Matthew's law license was suspended due to his inability to resolve outstanding dues owed to the California Bar Association during his time at Harvard University. Matthew was diagnosed with major depression with signs of mania. His symptoms worsened over time, leading to a diagnosis of bipolar disorder. Additionally, Matthew developed paranoid delusions, becoming convinced that the government was wiretapping his phone and hacking his computer due to his suspected ties with immigrant clients that the government deemed as terrorists. In early 2015, Matthew relocated to a cabin in South Lake Tahoe, which his family had owned. He became a recluse, rarely sleeping and spending most of his time in a daze watching Batman movies. Matthew's paranoia intensified, and he became increasingly suspicious of those around him as spring approached. Matthew began experiencing psychotic episodes. During these episodes, he often wore a wetsuit, creating tools from swim goggles and super soakers, and engaged in bizarre behavior. Matthew's psychosis led him to develop a Robin Hood-like plan where he would kidnap evil, wealthy people and demand a ransom in exchange for their release. This act was morally justified to him due to his distorted perception of reality. In September 2016, Matthew pleaded guilty to 1 count of kidnapping and was sentenced to 40 years in prison. He faced additional state charges of kidnapping, burglar, robbery, and 2 counts of sexual assault by force. Denise found herself compelled to take the stand as a witness during one of Matthew Muller's trials. Her testimony was intense, as she described in detail the harrowing experience she had endured at the hands of the accused, acting as his own attorney. Matthew Muller graced the courtroom in a suit. What stood out the most during this testimony was Denise's remarkable composure as she faced her attack head-on. As Denise began her testimony, she addressed the jurors, her voice unwavering. She explained how she had initially hesitated to come forward with her account of the sexual assault, fearing that others would not believe her. However, she pressed on, determined to seek justice for the crimes committed against her throughout her testimony. Denise's unwavering determination was on display. She described how she refused to let Matthew see her cry or succumb to hysteria. Instead, she closed her eyes and imagined being with her boyfriend during the assault. This mental imagery provided her with a sense of comfort and strength, enabling her to persevere through the difficult memories of her testimony. Matthew Muller, on the other hand, did not cross-examine Denise. He chose to let her testimony stand without challenging or refuting any aspects of her story. Matthew was deemed incompetent to stand trial for the state charges. However, in November 2022, he was declared mentally fit to stand trial and pleaded guilty to those charges. Netflix's recent release of American Nightmare, a documentary featuring Denise Huskins, has provided a comprehensive account of the assault in the abduction she suffered. Each episode of American Nightmare is 45 minutes long and was released on January 17, 2024. Denise, a brave and determined survivor, recounts her harrowing tale, detailing the 2 sexual assaults she endured at the hands of her abductor. During the documentary, Denise provides a detailed account of her experiences. She revealed how the assailant, who claimed to be a military veteran, sexually assaulted her twice. Denise claimed that she told her abductor she had been sexually abused as a child, hoping it would deter him from repeating the offense. However, her hopes were shattered when he assaulted her again. The assault informed Denise that he had recorded both assaults and would release the footage if she went to the police. This terrifying ultimatum left Denise fearing for her safety and the safety of her loved ones. As a result, she initially refrained from disclosing her sexual assault to the detectives, fearing that she may put herself, her boyfriend, Aaron, and her family in further danger. In September 2015, Aaron Quinn and Denise Huskins filed a lawsuit against the city of Vallejo, seeking compensation for their false imprisonment, defamation, and false arrest and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The couple alleged that the police department destroyed their reputations through an outrageous, completely unprofessional, and wholly unfounded claim of disparagement, according to People magazine. Aaron and Denise settled with Vallejo officials in 2018 for $2,500,000. Vallejo city representatives admitted that the case was not handled as sensitively as it should have been, and they offered an apology to the couple. The Vallejo Police Department eventually recognized their mistake and issued an apology to Aaron and Denise as well in 2021. Denise and Aaron wrote a book about their ordeal, shedding light on their experiences and highlighting the challenges they faced in the aftermath of the abduction. The book served as a powerful tool to advocate for change and highlight the importance of victim support. Denise and Aaron are now proud parents to 2 daughters born in 2020 and 2022. Denise, never letting anyone dictate their worth. Aaron echoed these sentiments, expressing his hope that his daughters will grow up to be like their mother. Despite the challenges they faced, Denise and Aaron have shown incredible strength and resilience. Their story serves as a powerful testament to the power of love and determination in the face of adversity. Despite the passage of time, Denise and Aaron are still puzzled by the reason behind Matthew's actions. the documentary reveals that Matthew's original intent was not to kidnap Denise, but rather to abduct Aaron's former fiancée Andrea. However, it remains unexplained why Matthew specifically targeted Andrea Denise, and Aaron shared their experiences with People magazine, expressing their frustration with the lack of answers surrounding Matthew's motives. Aaron stated that, like many other victims and survivors they often encountered, situations where definitive answers may not surface. He emphasized the importance of moving forward by focusing on what truly matters, such as their children and work. Aaron emphasized that getting stuck on finding answers could be detrimental to the healing process. He and Denise recognized that they may not receive a definitive explanation as to why Matthew targeted them. Despite the lack of closure, they continued to move forward, prioritizing their well-being and the well-being of their children. Denise and Aaron's focus remains on moving forward and rebuilding their lives regardless of the reasons behind Matthew's actions. What happened during Denise Huskins' abduction case serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences when hasty judgments are made without sufficient evidence. The Vallejo Police Department's initial dismissal of the case as a hoax undermined the victim's credibility and hindered the investigation process. This incident underscores the importance of due process, the need to thoroughly investigate all leads before dismissing them as false or fabricated. By doing so, law enforcement agencies can ensure that all potential victims receive the attention and support they deserve. Matthew Muller is currently incarcerated at the Federal Correctional Institute Ushon FCI in Tucson, Arizona. He is serving a 31-year state sentence that will run concurrently with a 40-year federal sentence. Concurrent sentences refer to multiple sentences being served at the same time, but they do not merge into a single sentence in Muller's case. Both his state and federal sentences will run simultaneously according to the court records. Matthew Muller's release date is July 8, 2049. This date means he is expected to complete his state and federal sentences and be released from prison that day. However, it is important to note that this date is subject to change and can be affected by various factors, including good behavior, participation in rehabilitation programs, and any changes in sentencing laws or regulations.